Test 1, 2, test. Let's make sure I've got all the audio correct. All right, defaulting correctly, seeing the mic work proper. Look at that. Almost like you planned it. All right. What it do? Yeah. Figured we'll do a little movie magic marathon this evening. Maybe an episode or two, perhaps. See what we can do. Hope your Monday is going fantastic. Mine is going all right for the most part. Guess we did a lot of just editing for shorts. All the social medias and stuff like that. We're taking things seriously in the 21st century, which is going to be a change. We're actually going through and promoting things, and hopefully you guys will go out and see those things and like them and subscribe and do all of those fun things. In which case, let me then also say, be a dirty baby, like and subscribe on this sucker. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Cool. So we will bust into all of this. Got a couple on the YouTubes there. Again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and everything. We've seen a whole bunch of things. That's what's been nice about today is I've gone through and did a whole bunch of little social media stuff and whatnot. And when you can actually see numbers and whatnot, it's pretty cool because you're like, oh, I see how many people are actually seeing the things that I'm posting out there. And when you see hundreds of people, whether or not whatever their impression of, what you're putting out there is, when they see that, your stuff then comes to their mind. And then hopefully that algorithm will start feeding them more and more things. And the cool part is with YouTube is that like they've got like really pretty interesting as far as all of your stats and everything are concerned. Because with that, you can easily just go, oh, here's how long people are watching and stuff like that. And you guys are watching for an inordinate amount of time, which is always kind of very cool to look and go, oh, you clicked on an hour and a half podcast and you listened for well over 20 minutes. And that's pretty sweet. So again, be a dirty baby, like and subscribe. That's the way that this show can get out to more people. Because I don't know about you guys. But I watch a lot of YouTube. I would imagine if you're here as well, you also watch a lot of YouTube. And, and if you've been listening to H&P for any stretchy amount of time, you know that I don't have the highest opinion of myself by any stretch of the imagination. But I think we're putting out a damn fine product over here at H&P. And I think that we could be a lot bigger. And, a lot of that's on me for putting out, the proper amount of material, but we're getting for that. And so I need a helping hand from you guys. For the like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. And we really appreciate it. Comments on videos that you see, stuff like that. It's so stupid, but one little tiny thing leads to another tiny little thing, which leads to another tiny thing. Next thing you know, you've got a video that's got a whole bunch of views. And I don't have many of those. I've got a couple. I've got the popcorn video that's over a million views strong here and everything. I just need 1 million views every month across all the videos. I don't need it on just one video. That would be nice if I was like 1 million on every. If it was just 1 million spread across every single video that I have, that's a full-time living, believe it or not. And we're at like 160,000, a month right now. So like it's not too far off. So your like and subscribes mean a whole hell of a lot of things. And if you're a crazy old dirty baby there, why don't you drop their super chat, aka
Fortress Bucks.
Now I'm gonna have a new one for that soon. I meant to kind of fumble with that today, but I'm gonna have the new Fortress Bucks in here. If you were listening on, I don't know if that ended up on the actual stream or anything last night, where Sean kind of came up with a new Fortress Bucks theme, but I've got to kind of I got to produce that properly because we want to make it old timey style and whatnot to make it kind of sound like BioShock. You remember when you're going through BioShock and just hear a lot of that kind of stuff? That's what we want to do with the new
Fortress Bucks.
So, well, I think it'll be a little bit more jaunty. I think people will want to hear it just a little bit more. So, keep that in mind. Come next week. Certainly on the big show next week. on Sunday, we will absolutely have the new Portrait Bucks, but hopefully I'll have produced it before then. Hey kids, let's take a look at a couple of things before we get into our movie magic and whatnot. Because as I saw right here, Alex is ready. Alex is ready for some movie magic. It's a good time. We get to see things that, like, you can't do this show today. You can't do movie magic today because it would just be like, here's a bunch of nerds sitting in a computer just going. Well, and now we wait for it to render. Not a lot of fun in that. But these old school 90s movie magic episodes are pretty sweet. And we'll take a look at that. I think the episodes that I've got looking tonight. Let me read what I'm looking for. The first one we're going to do is on sound effects, so we can kind of and that'll give me plenty of times to do my best Michael Winslow impression throughout the entire video, which is what I'm sure you all came here for tonight. Was the comedic sound effect stylings of Adam Porter's. Michael Winslow be damned. I'm taking the reins on this one. But we'll do that one, and then I think we'll do one about pyrotechnics and explosions and stuff like that, because who don't like seeing some pyro going off? And again, that's another thing that today we're not blowing up stuff as much, man. We're literally just kind of going to the CGI on things, and that's kind of sad. I wish we were back in the day where we were blowing up stuff more. That sounds a lot worse than it actually is. So let's see. Let's get into a couple of ideas that I got here, because we want to go over. This is something that I want to start doing on Mondays. Is going through the old box office here, everybody. I don't know what you know, but comic book movies are back, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic Four First Steps opened up with a gross of $117 million in the United States here this week. So debuting at number 1. Superman with a cool 24 mil underneath that. That's a 57% drop off from last week. Jurassic World Rebirth still holding in surprisingly strong. And I got to be honest with you, if you haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth, it's okay. It's okay. It's better than your last couple of Jurassic Park movies and stuff like that. It's a little formulaic, but at the same time, that's what you're kind of looking for. It's not horrid. F1 is a pretty decent time. Nothing wild and crazy at this point. That's made $6 million this week. And number 5 is the Smurfs, or just Smurfs. There's no article. Smurfs with $5 million, 5.4 we'll call it. I Know What You Did Last Summer comes in and debuts with a cool $5.1 million. I don't know if we know what this costs. What did this what was a bitch is before Box Office Mojo got bought out by IMDb, they used to have all the relevant information here. Now, in order to do it, you have to get on IMDb Pro. That's what they want you on, because give us more money. But you know what's even worse than that? For the longest time, and it may still even be now, that I'm actually an IMDb Pro member. I just don't know. I think it's like on the old Preacher account or something, when I was trying to contact all the people from the Preacher show, and none of those assholes called me back. Well worth it. So yeah, man, that movie's still kicking and jamming it over there. How to Train Your Dragon, don't know why that's a movie that's out. And Eddington, Oh Hi, don't know what that one is. What's Oh Hi? Oh hi, Mark. It's my documentary movie. Iris and Isaac's First Romantic Weekend. Is that's not the, I don't know what that is. Oh Hi and The Home. So there you go. Fantastic Four number 1. I don't know what's gonna. I don't know what we're gonna be doing after this, man. We're just gonna go maybe Fantastic Four for another week here. Because what's do you really think that all of a sudden the new Naked Gun movie is gonna be the one that overtakes that? I think not, my friends. I think not. I wanted to read this real quick, or at least skim it, because I don't know. It just was kind of like looking through the Hollywood Reporter, just looking for a couple of headlines or something. Matthew Larson's questioning the Superman dog superhero bond sparks debate. What the hell is going on here? The actor, who is this? The actor took issue with the portrayal of the titular hero and feisty Poochie's dynamic in this summer box office smash hit. Matthew Larson's comment at the San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend on Crypto, the canine star of James Gunn's Superman, has sparked an online debate about the importance of the CGI four-legged friend to their titular hero, and that prompted some to suggest that the actor rewatch the film's final scenes. Lawrence was at Comic-Con to promote the new graphic novel with his brothers, the Lawrence Brothers Detective Agency. Feels like a native ad for the Lawrence Brothers Detective Agency, doesn't it? And during an interview with the Hollywood Reporter at our on-site suite, ooh, must be fancy, he drew a question from our popcorn bucket, Lord have mercy, asking if he's seen Superman. The actor took the opportunity to pontificate about the role the dog plays in the movie and David Cornsweat's titular character. They like saying titular, I think, because it's got the word tit in it. This really got me, Lawrence said. I'm a huge animal lover, and I work in conversation. What the hell does that mean? That's some goofball talk right there. I work in conversation. Okay, that means I converse with the animals. If I could walk with the animal, he's fucking Dr. Doolittle. Is that what's going on here? I have more pets than I can count. Sounds like somebody that's really responsible with animals, doesn't it? Most of them reptiles. All right, Yeah, most of them reptiles and amphibians. Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Yeah, because here's the thing, and you know what it is with reptiles and amphibians and stuff, because you're gonna have two different types, right? You're either gonna have like the type that you don't like really have to do much and nothing to, or the type that you gotta like feed them straight ass dead stuff. Like here's a mouse for you to eat. You get to watch it just kind of eat a mouse like a softball and just crunch it together. Who wants that? Those people, anybody that you see that is out here banging on the door of like, oh man, I got to have snakes or iguanas or other bullshit like that. Red flag them, man. Get out of there. Ferrets, same story. I lived in an apartment with a ferret, believe it or not. Bad times. You walk by that room, it was like a fucking barn. Ugh. But I've had some amazing connections with dogs over the years. Now you know this guy's full of crap. And it's not a relationship that I wanted to, and that's not the relationship that I wanted to see. I think it needed more heart. I think it needed more depth. He was kind of like, this dog, I don't really care about this dog. Well, it ain't his dog, my guy. You ever been house sitting for someone else's dog? You don't love their dog like you love your dog, right? Of course you don't. Lawrence is interrupted by his brother Andrew, who corrects the record, telling them how in the movie Superman was just watching the dog. See, there you go. His brother's smarter than he is. The fact is revealed at the end of the film when, spoiler alert, an inebriated Supergirl, Molly Alcock, arrives at the Fortress of Solitude to collect her feisty pet. It's also mentioned in dialogue throughout the blockbuster action hit that little crypto does not belong to Superman. Either ignoring or not hearing the interjection from his brother, Lawrence continued his critique. Sounds like Lawrence is a real piece of work. I think if you've had a dog and you had a real connection with your dog, again, I'm so glad that they pointed out that this ding dong wasn't listening. And I wish, because you know why? Because these are what we call self-centered people who are just looking for the next thing that they're going to say. He wasn't listening to what anyone else was going to say. He was chambering in that next barb, man. And I wish I could have seen that because it always needs to be highlighted. No, it doesn't. Shut up. In a clip interview of the moment. All right, let's see what this is. Let's play this. Oh, this is the cat that been in shit. What was that show? He was on Boy Meets World for a minute, right? Am I wrong about that? He was on something else. He was one of those actor kids that got a little bit of somebody was, we'll just say, doing some untoward stuff, and maybe he was out of the business for that. Maybe, I don't know if he was one of those kids or not. Maybe that's me starting something, but oh, he said conservation, not conversation. So I read that incorrectly. So maybe I'm the dumb. You know what, Matthew? All's forgiven. I looked into a dog's eyes and I said, I see you. And he looked in my eyes. And now while I know he don't speak English, I could tell. He said, I see you too. He licked me on the face. I wanted to see him beat the dog. Is that wrong? Because it's not his dog and the dog's being a pain in the butt. That's, yeah. his brother's over there's like, it's not his dog, you idiot. What are you talking about? You're so stupid. And with that, I'm gonna say screw his story. I don't care. All right, let's I got one more for you. Let's do this. One more, because I want to mention this because I talked about it on the internet, so I figure we ought to talk about this. Avatar Fire and Ash trailer officially released online. James Cameron returns with a fiery stunner. The follow-up to The Way of Water teases a spectacular epic that includes volcano fights, family tragedy, and intense action. Fan reactions are over the top. Yep, another billion to James Cameron. You never know, man. And like I've always said, you cannot count James Cameron out. With that, the first Avatar movie made $1.5 gajillion. The second one did the story better than you could have ever imagined that they would have. And still they made another $1 billion. So don't you ever for 1 second count old Jimmy Cameron out, boy, because he don't play that game. All right, let's so check that trailer out. I would show it on stream, but I would get absolutely banned for it because they don't like that kind of stuff. They're not fans. Let me shuffle. Every day I'm shuffling the tabs around. Here we go. Let us get. There we are. Always love these. Hey man, I came across your channel. I wish I knew how. I wish I could ban from my battle station here, but I don't have mods. All right, let's get into it, gang. It's movie magic time. I don't know about you, but Movie Magic was a television show that was syndicated in the 90s. I went around to many homes. My guess is for a lot of folks, they probably saw it on like Sci-Fi Network or something of that nature. That's where I remember watching it a lot of Saturdays and stuff. Leading up to all these big giant blockbuster movies, you know, when the times when like Roland Emmerich and those dudes were constantly doing, you know, big giant, you know, explosion-y action adventure movies and stuff like that. Stuff that took like, you know, real honest to God craftsmen to do because, you know, computers were just garbage at that point. Those days are gone, but man, we can relive them through the folks over at Movie Magic. So let's get into it. This one is the episode 15 entitled Sound Effects. Let's have some fun.
Theater. Visual images from Hollywood flicker before our eyes, but take away the sounds that accompany those moving images,
and it's boring as hell. Told you.
And you steal the thunder from every magical frame. Welcome to the little-known, occasionally noisy world of sound effects specialists. It's their job to create the audio that accompanies motion pictures. Often that means constructing every...
Ladies and gentlemen, that was not part of the Foley session. That was just Sandra going a little wild.
...sound from the ground up. Coming up...
Play it back, please.
We'll go behind the microphone of Blake Edwards, son of the Pink Panther, as experts in audio create the sounds of the Casbah. We'll also journey back to the dawn of sound effects with this legendary ape. And we'll meet the innovator who coined the term sound design for his work on Apocalypse Now.
Oh, guess what, boys and girls? I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. That's Walter Murch. That's right. I've read Walter Murch's book. It's good stuff. Oh, shoot. There we go.
Today, we salute the Sultans of Sound on Movie Magic.
Let's hit that intro.
Shooting is winding down on the set of Son of the Pink Panther. Until now, the focus of the production team has been to capture images on film.
Not making it funny. They just want to capture some images on film. Does it look like something? That's good. Don't worry about it being funny. Peter Sellers is dead, so there's not a whole heck of a lot we can do here.
Sounds are captured too, but often the quality of the audio doesn't match the picture.
That's when you fire Bert, the boom mic guy. Look at the hilarity.
Cut.
As literally thousands of feet of
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my word.
Cut.
Yes. That old school editor. Look at that bad boy. That film going straight through there. I never worked on one of these. I shot on film and stuff. We were like some of the last people that were kind of shooting on film school before they kind of went all digital and everything. But we were still editing digital. So they, we didn't do any kind of reel to reel or any kind of edit droid like this bad boy here from back in the day. It's probably not specifically an edit droid, but it's a sister of that of some way.
literally thousands of feet of film are edited into their final scenes. The immense challenge of refining, replacing, and often creating the soundtracks fall on the shoulders of the sound design team.
We've become known as the fixing it in post people.
Again, for those of you that have never seen any of the movie magic stuff before, one of my guesses here is that this used to be a show that was on in Japan or somewhere in Asia. I don't really know differences between kanji and other things like that. I'm not learned. But this looks like it was overseas. Let's put it to you that way. And done, they shot it here in America, obviously, with all these English-speaking people and whatnot. So, but you will see some baked in Chiron graphics and stuff every now and then, and going like, what the heck is this? Well, they just repurposed it, put our voiceover guy behind it, and Robert Schmother's brother. Here we are.
We can redo the dialogue. We can do the effects. We can do almost.
Is she also running a daycare? What's happening?
Anything. What your job basically is to make it all seem like it's all really happening at that time.
Supervising sound editor on Son of the Pink Panther, Kay Rose has been a respected member of Hollywood's film community for nearly 50 years. Kay was the first woman to receive the Academy Award for Sound Effects Editing for her work on the 1984 release, The River. Her other films include Ordinary People, The Prince of Tides, and on Golden Pond.
We had to get all of the strain out of Nick Nolte's voice while we were doing all of the ADR.
As supervising sound editor, Kay is responsible for the overall audio design and a staff of 30 that brings those sounds to the big screen.
Okay, that's easy.
One of those highly specialized individuals is sound effects editor Mark Mangini. Mark and his company Weddington Productions are responsible for creating, designing, and editing the sound effects on Son of the Pink Panther.
And Mark himself is also responsible for 3/4 of the PERT Plus purchases throughout the greater metro area.
Tight quarters, huh?
If you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Trek 1, 4, or 5,
I have.
Inner Space, or Aladdin,
I've seen all
then
of them.
you've heard Mark Mangini's award-winning work.
Those were good films, Mark. Congratulations. Hang your hat on it, sir. He's some crow.
It's pretty good, so we like that. Most people may not know that the microphone that's there on the set as they're filming is
Is that how the song goes?
isn't picking up all the sounds that you hear when you're in the theater when you see the finished product. Although that's certainly the sound editor's job, is to create that illusion. So we will analyze the soundtrack for what's missing and determine how to best finish it. 313. Scene number 313 is Omar's Cafe. Okay, I've now set up a scene, and I'm now, in sequential order, I'm going to decide what sounds we need to put in this scene.
This is one thing I don't think a lot of people know about, be it this industry here in the movies or in television and stuff like that. But there was like a very long time where they were holding on to equipment far past the date that you would actually think it to be usable. This is one of these cases right here. And when I was at Channel 3 in Charlotte back in the early 2000s and whatnot, we were still putting like the show rundown on these kind of Apple II style monitors here and everything. It was just the most, green on black kind of experience and whatnot. And so like they held on to those things forever. And like, I mean, some places were still shooting and recording and duping on Betamax until 08, maybe something like that. So sometimes they'd be holding on to stuff, and I think that's probably the case here. He's just got this word processor from like 1987. It's like I'm not letting it go, man.
Once we've run the picture, we create a list. From that list, we begin to delegate responsibility and we compartmentalize sound.
Donnie, you're doing the coughs in this scene, okay? Just the coughs. You're our cough guy. We trust you.
There's what we call Foley, which is the recording of footsteps and incidental props.
All right, enter new sound effect, blank if none. Nose pop off, okay? Nose squish back on. Maybe we're thinking about a clown thingy here. Belly wiggle. What's a belly wiggle sound like, I wonder?
Movement.
This is something that's cool, and like I wish we would see more things of in like behind the scenes special effects and stuff like that, is showing like, hey, here are all the different, tracks and stuff that are going on right now. Let's listen to, just kind of start layering them in little bit by little bit and kind of letting people discover how, a movie soundtrack is actually made and everything. Because I think a lot of us just will watch a movie and then take for granted the things that are happening on screen and just go like, oh, that's just what it sounded like on the day that they shot it. Well, that might have zero, audio that was shot on the day. So, and completely re-rendered by someone else. So it's kind of cool to see them kind of take apart stuff like that left and right.
ADR and Walla, which is the re-recording of dialogue and group. And
I'm glad they said Walla, because maybe that's just an old school thing. I don't hear people talking about Walla Walla sounds and stuff anymore, which is, he's going to explain it to you in a second. But like, I don't hear people using that term properly anymore.
Audiences, if you will, crowd sounds specific to the picture that we don't have.
So what he's talking about here is all that kind of like the stuff that's very unintelligible. That's where the Walla Walla, because it's the wall of sound is just it doesn't really sound like anything. So when you like listen to like a noisy cafe or something, if you listen to it all as one big cacophonous, sound and everything, you can't quite pick anything else out. That's what you're kind of recreating here with all of these effects.
Then there will be sound effects, the very obvious ones being things like gunshots and door closes and car skids and things like that. Those sounds always need to be augmented.
I don't know either. I could do them both, really good.
And see, here's where all the theater kids come in, right? This is the group of people that you want to stay away from. Hopefully this is a late night recording where there's no one else in the office, because I could only imagine how loud and crazy this group. Look at him. I can already tell you right now, this group is a handful and a half.
Because the other guy's just going.
Dialogue is the basis of any film. ADR, or automated dialogue replacement, is the process for correcting or improving it. For this raucous scene in the Casbah, dialogue supervisor.
Look at that hat. Someone get Blossom on the phone. Gorgeous.
Vicky Sam.
Cable net sweater and everything. Oh my word, dripping.
Sampson directs voice artists in an ADR or looping session.
Her, however.
Here on a dubbing stage at Warner Hollywood Studios, 14 people recreate the background noise of dozens of revelers.
A lot of ADR is group looping, which is done with the characters in the background of a scene that are instructed on the set not to speak, so that they can have clean tracks for their main actors.
And that's when you can have a lot of fun when you're watching back movies and stuff like that and watch all the people fake act in the back. And I did that when I was when I would do any background work and stuff. I would have like a whole little story and stuff in my head, and I'd play it out every single take. It was, listen, I mean, it's, it's work when if you can get it.
I'm going to kill you. Follow me.
None of them had dates tonight. Here, white people scream at the movie screen for the very first time. We couldn't believe it either, but here it is. We saw it in full living color.
He is using group ADR to add authenticity to exotic locales.
In the Casbah scene in Pink Panther, they're in Lugash, So it's an imaginary.
I don't want to be in this cafe anymore. Where is my pastrami sandwich? I don't think they're going to give you a pastrami sandwich. Listen, my character wants a pastrami sandwich.
City. So we had a couple of Arabic speaking men, a couple of French speaking women, and then we had like 4 others who could replicate Arabicese. And once it's all thrown,
we got a couple of others. They couldn't speak anything, but they could give a lot of
thrown in there together, it can sound like it was supposed to.
Like, you know, English speaking people won't know the difference.
To sound.
Chuka chuka. So whenever you hear any kind of crowd scenes and stuff like that, just think of old frumpy white ladies just going, ah!
ADR is also frequently used for individual dialogue replacement. It's not uncommon to re-record every word a character says.
Dark women with blue eyes and full red lips, who smell like night blooming jasmine and taste like a warm mango.
Wormy mango.
There's a mango. When your stupid Frenchman can't speak English. ADR.
I should be saying worm. That's what I should do, don't you think? Worm.
I should ruin his career. That's what we should do. Yeah, sounds like a good one.
Mango, yes, we got to do one.
Sometimes a director wants to change performance of an actor. Sometimes they want to revoice, use a whole different voice.
Sometimes they want to get Mel Blanc
Than the original actor. Yeah, it's weird when you play them all back together and see a flow of things.
And taste like a warm mango.
Worm. Mango, yes.
We looped the Deborah Ferrantino scene because in the when they did that take, his voice was so projected and hers was so soft that the director was concerned that the balances would be off.
Ma'am, can you say warm mango 16 times, please? Give me another take on that.
Take 14, X703.
Here we go, Tom.
Do you believe in life after love? Oh, is that not what we're doing here today? Wrong session? I'm sorry.
Warm mango? Is that a sync on that?
Looping is a very hard phase
She didn't say that with any kind of confidence.
of this sound process because you're trying to recreate a performance that was done to other actors on a bare stage with the headphones on with beeps coming at you, and you have to watch your mouth, and a lot of actors haven't seen themselves before on the screen.
And some have to stop projectile vomiting when they see themselves because they're like, I am ugly. Why am I here? I should not be in this business any longer. I'm a fraud.
Warm mango?
Why don't you?
This is what we call bad ADR, everybody. Did that look like that? What went along with that? No, sirree, Bob.
Print them both, and I'll just play with them.
Okay.
Do it again.
It's like putting together a big puzzle and snipping out the little pieces you don't want and putting in the pieces that you don't notice.
Unfortunately, with Ginger, there's more pieces that you don't want than you do.
And it's a very unrecognized phase of sound work because if you do it well, you don't notice it.
That is the key of all of this stuff, guys, is movies indeed are magic if they're doing it right if you don't see where the seams are.
And you shouldn't notice it. It should just be as if that was the way it was recorded on the set.
Mm-hmm. Natural. You only notice ADR when it's bad.
Who smell like night blooming jasmine and taste like a warm mango.
Warm mango?
That's what they went with. That's so bad, dude. Mongo no want worm mango. Mongo want ice cream cone.
And honey.
Dialogue replacement allows audiences to hear the actors as clearly as they see them. But some of the most involved wizardry of the audio process begins when the actors stop talking.
And the schizophrenics start moving in. Here comes your history lesson. Honestly, some of the best parts of the movie Magic episodes are the history lessons.
When King Kong was released in 1933, feature-length talking pictures had only been around for 6 years.
Which is kind of a crazy thought when you think about it. It's like, oh yeah, we've only been having sync sound for 6 years at this point. Huh?
Yet this groundbreaking fantasy epic virtually wrote the book on sound effects.
6 years, and then it's just like, all right, now we got King Kong. Now that's to say that we were not doing special effects, and stuff before King Kong, but
The audio work was staggering, centered around a make-believe Kong and primeval beasts.
that wasn't a documentary.
All of these sounds had to be made from scratch.
Because dinosaurs aren't real.
A daunting task that rested on the shoulders of RKO's new head of sound effects, Murray Spivak.
I was very happy with the way King Kong turned out because it was a tremendous challenge, and I hadn't the slightest idea what I was going to do with it.
What made Murray's work on King Kong possible was the development of re-recording technology. Prior to that time, they had to record the sound live.
I had to make all of these sounds simultaneously when they were shooting a picture. We only had one soundtrack, and all the sound had to be done at the same time.
Which is insane. When you really go back and you start thinking about these early filmmakers and what they accomplished and what they put together with spit and shoe polish is pretty unbelievable. When you look back and you just go like the limitations that they had, really honest and truly, up until the 80s and 90s, the limitations that they had were unbelievable. But now, flip of switch, man, so bad.
By the time King Kong was in production, Murray had access to portable audio machines that recorded sound on film. Having the freedom to take these devices into the field, pre-record a roaring lion, then re-record it at the studio while altering its pitch, allowed Murray to create King Kong's ferocious growl.
I found that if I lowered an octave, it would be at half speed. Then I took a tiger roar, and then I put that.
This is the most disturbing part of King Kong, when he beats up the Tyrannosaurus Rex and then just starts, messing with him. Just starts flapping his jaw and stuff like that. You're like, geez.
Backwards against the lion roar.
Yeah.
You couldn't detect what it was, and we knew there was no bass singer that could sing that low, so I knew that I was on the right track.
Following Murray Spivak's inspired work, sound re-recording and synchronization techniques continued to evolve. Today, just as dialogue is re-recorded or altered, footsteps, breaking glass, even a belly dancer's rattling chains can be...
Okay, that's the thing. That's what they were talking about. I was thinking that they were just like, belly flopping around. You know what the belly sounds like, right? No, they're talking about that bullcrap.
reproduced and manipulated through a technique called Foley.
Jingle, jangle, jingle.
A Foley stage is a recording studio outfitted specifically to record hundreds of movie sounds in a controlled environment with close-up microphones. Even if a noise recorded on the set is adequate, it can usually be improved.
It started out with mainly replacing footsteps or adding a few specific props here and there, maybe a crash or something like that. Now it can virtually replace or re-record nearly every single.
You wonder if they clean this place up when they're done at their every day, or is it just kind of like, well, we're going to use it later, so just leave it on the floor.
Single sound in the movie. We'll sweeten the table crashes there on channel 15.
Foley supervisor Chris Flick collaborates with Foley artists Ellen Hewer and Kevin Bartnoff to come up with more than 24 different sounds for
Kevin really leans into his job.
The Casbah scene alone.
Why don't you stay with the cloth that he'll put around the guy's neck?
Okay.
And I'll stay with his hood.
It's a lot easier to record it on the Foley stage because the Foley artists or Foley walkers can actually perform the prop movements right along with the actor or actress on the screen.
Do you wonder if anybody just goes like, I'm Dustin Hoffman's feet, and I only do the Foley for Dustin Hoffman's feet, and that's it? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You didn't say action yet. That was my fault. That was my fault. This was not supposed to be part of it. Who doesn't think that they could easily do this, right? I feel like everybody feels at least they think they could do this.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. Cool. It's pretty close.
For one take.
Yeah. Hey, go back there. Can we sweeten that? Should we add some glass breaks?
No, I'm getting a little bit angry here. I feel like I might want to throw a glass or something.
Glass breaks would be good.
Okay.
Some of the things we specifically wanted to highlight were the sort of the domino effect of Clouseau Jr. cascading into everybody at the bar and all the tumbling and body falls. All of the plates that were on the tables and all the drinks and all the different sounds that could be created that way that would help the humor of the scene. I mean, the scene is funny to begin with. It has that.
Is it though?
Sort of slapstick, broad humor. And then the sound effects can really enhance it by punching up certain impacts and highlights.
I don't know.
While Foley can recreate thousands of highly specialized sounds in the confines of a stage, audio designers must often venture far and wide to capture the sounds they need.
For more information on this, see Brian De Palma's Blowout.
I said stop!
This scene calls for a wheezing diesel Renault. Sound technician Ezra Dweck is recreating that noise on a stage of somewhat bigger proportions, the Southern California desert.
What I'm recording here, this interior stuff, will sort of be used to smooth out the interior car shots. A lot of times on the set,
I think
the cars are being towed along with the camera car anyway, so there is no engine sound.
Ezra's recording of this Jetta doubling as the Renault in Pink Panther includes interiors, exteriors, practically every sound an automobile can make.
Accelerate, maybe downshift and hit the accelerator when you go by.
Okay.
If it's
Something to spice it up and make it a little more interesting. The main concern on the set isn't always to get the best sound effects because they know that they can send someone like me out later to do it. I dare say that's the best one yet.
Some sounds can be recorded on an indoor stage, and some under the blazing desert sun. But a good deal of cinema sound effects are designed on computer by the sound effects editor.
That's better.
Who are these wizards?
Director Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now is one of the most controversial films of all time. On screen, the graphic portrayal of the chaos of the Vietnam War was enhanced immeasurably by its Academy Award-winning soundtrack.
I think that our arc light can be more interesting. I wish there was a...
Look at Walter's just like, Jesus, he's talking again. Every day I gotta hear Francis go on and on and on. And Apocalypse Now was not an easy film to shoot, nor edit, or any of these things. Walter wants to die right now. Look at the look on that man's face.
A little more we could get out of the guy, helicopter in the sky with the guys hanging on it. Just so that the audience can say, oh, you hear that? That means they're being nice to me.
With Apocalypse Now, what audiences hear affects them as much as what they see. This accomplishment is due in large part to Walter Murch's breakthrough multi-channel audio.
Update from 155.
With his layering of seemingly surrealistic sounds, Murch elevated sound editing to the level of an art form.
I'm a really big fan of Walter Murch's voice. Distinctive.
With making it visually spectacular, Francis wanted to make it sonically spectacular on two levels. Technically, to do something that hadn't been done before, and then artistically to try to do something that hadn't been done before. The technical part of it was to turn the film into a quadraphonic setup so that we could move any sound across the whole 360 degrees of the space of the room.
So that was your precursor to surround sound and everything. So you had 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that would just, go all the way around you. So we would later go on to 5.1, 7.1, and so on.
Artistically, we wanted to do a soundtrack that was in keeping with the sound of the war.
We didn't want a soundtrack that mostly was, calliope music. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't match.
Coppola's concern for realism inspired him to ship the patrol boat used in filming from the Philippines to his California ranch for a Foley session.
Okay, now. Okay. First and both.
Basically, we made the world into a Foley stage. As a result, we got dynamics.
You know what Shakespeare said, all the world is your Foley stage.
And movement and reality to the sound that's sometimes hard to get in the confines of a small stage.
Walter's experience on Apocalypse Now inspired him to coin the term sound designer to describe his role on the film.
And I thought it was sort of like a sonic equivalent of interior design, in the sense that I'd been given a bare space to work with, a room with 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor, and I was told to hang sound, fill this place up with sound.
And that, especially with something like Apocalypse Now, when you see all the chaos and destruction and everything that's going on, as much as you would think, oh, you just throw a microphone out there, and you got to recreate all of that stuff, man. You got to do it all in post. It's a mess.
The audio advances of Walter Murch and his contemporaries in the 70s have been furthered by modern use of digital technology. Computers aid in quicker, easier, and more complex manipulation of sound effects.
Let's go to the first sound for the nose, which...
At this point in The Son of the Pink Panther, that which can't be spoken by an actor or recorded on a Foley stage must be created by Mark Mangini.
Uh-oh.
When the belly dancer pops his nose off, I mean, that's a comic moment. So you just don't want a clay sound, you want like a... or, some pop, comic, cartoony-like sound, so we'll have to create that. What I pulled was 1356-56, which is some sort of burglar.
One of those, maybe? One of those?
Liquidy face flatulation. That's the one. In electronic media, like a digital workstation, you have that sound, but now you have other tools online in the editing system that will allow you to slow it down, speed it up, play it backwards, manipulate the sound to more accurately complement a picture. Okay, well, that's good. They have some choices.
With all of the
needed to be louder. It's not louder, but higher. Like the pitch needed to kind of go up at the end. It going down doesn't lead nearly as much to comedy. The pitch, it going up is down. Down doesn't work. Not in that particular case, at least.
Necessary sound elements placed into the show. The last step is the final mix. This task falls to supervising sound editor Kay Rose and her 3 re-recording mixers.
Hundreds of elements are mixed down into 3 elements: music, effects, and dialogue. And then they are balanced.
And again, the nice part is now with all of this stuff, you can have a bajillion of these things and just, you still have to assign them, but boy, is it not nearly as bad as all of this mess.
Balanced one against the other to make a track that's played in the theater.
I think we can get far better balances than what we've had before.
Yeah, okay.
And make it more exciting, because that's the thing that carries.
We won't erase anything though. We can just manufacture a new crowd.
As long as we can make it.
We'll make it better.
Better than it is.
Yeah,
right.
We'll make it better.
By carefully combining thousands of different sounds, Kay and her team take an essentially soundless piece of film and create a seamless movie. This is the Casbah scene, as it was first recorded on location.
And action!
Now adding in group ADR.
Oh.
Foley. Effects. With the addition of the musical score, the audio work is complete. When audiences worldwide see The Son of the Pink Panther, few people will consciously recognize the contribution of nearly 30.
Oh, come on. Few people will actually watch it because it's the Son of the Pink Panther. Peter Sellers is gone. Why would you want to watch this?
People, and the culmination of thousands of hours of painstaking work. But that's the best testimony to the efforts of Mark Mangini, Kay Rose, and the entire sound team.
If you are brought out of the film and you're aware that you're sitting in the theater watching a movie, then you failed. The most important thing to me is that the audience comes out feeling very happy they saw the picture and say, boy, that was a good 2 hours I spent and I had a lot of fun.
Sound designers are proud of their unheralded contributions to Hollywood filmmaking. When the picture begins and the sound fades up, it may not be immediately obvious, but the audience is listening, and what they're hearing is movie magic.
There it is, everybody. Your latest episode, Movie Magic. All right. Cool. How's everybody doing? Everyone holding up? Hope so. I think we'll do one more episode. We'll do pyrotechnics. I'm excited for pyrotechnics. We'll see what we got there. That should be hopefully good. This on for half a second. All right. Did we learn anything about sound? I hope so. I learned a little something. Not much. I gotta, listen. That's also kind of what I'm here for, Give you a little bit of extra stuff that the internet doesn't get. Yeah, I think up next we're going to do episode 16, Pyrotechnics. Oh, see, there you go. Alex learned a lot from that episode. That's what we need. As long as you learn a little something, that's important. I also like all those kind of like breakdowns and stuff. What's his name that did all the like Nirvana and Butch Vig. Butch Vig has a whole series where he would go through and kind of like disassemble all the different tracks for like Nirvana and all the other people. It's like, oh, here's where this is. Here's what this is. And now we doubled up guitars. Now we doubled up guitars again. That kind of stuff. I love things like that. Just kind of breaking down all of those elements and stuff that you don't think of as being a gajillion different things. And they were doing it with tape most of the time. All right, so let me use the restroom here real fast, and we'll get into pyrotechnics. We're gonna blow some stuff up, blow some up, I always say. See, I got a censor button so I can censor and not say all the dirty words, but sometimes I want to say a dirty word. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'll be right back. This guy. Oh, I took the loop off. That's no good. Oh, no, it's still there. Just couldn't hear it coming out of the headphones. All right. We back. That. All right, let's see. Let's do it like that. So we do it like that. That's good. All right, movie magic. This one is episode 7. All right, movie magic, episode 16, pyrotechnics. Let's go.
It's almost midnight, and the set is live on Stephen King's Needful Things.
We're gonna blow some stuff up, baby.
When filmmakers work to create action scenes featuring large-scale explosions, everyone involved knows that pyrotechnics are as inherently life-threatening as they appear on the screen.
This is where it doesn't hurt to say a little prayer, you know?
Because
I don't like the look of that guy right there. He's like, hey, man, let me see a little bit of a prayer. Why are your eyes so shut? It's nighttime. They should be wide open. What are we to suspect of you, sir?
of this ever-present danger, pyrotechnic effects require the skill and calculated precision of highly trained specialists.
Well, we got these guys instead. They were super cheap. Let's see what happens.
You guys need as much protection as you can. You're just on the bounds of the debris getting you. Okay, effects are ready, everybody.
During the filming of pyrotechnics, control of the set is entrusted to steel-nerved individuals known in the business as powder men.
And then
I was a powder man. My father was a powder man. His father was a powder man. Listen, it's a tough work, but it's very rewarding at the end of the day because you know what happens? You know what happens? Boom. That's right. That's right. Every single day. That's what happens at the end of my job. Good or bad, it goes boom. We hope it's good, though. We do hope it's good.
The faces and names of these specialists are little known, and seldom do they receive awards or public recognition.
And they'd likely hope that never happens because they're trying to avoid their parole officer.
But their on-screen impact is enormous.
all cameras running. What?
Prepare to take cover as we witness a series of blasts leading up to the cinematic destruction of a small Canadian town. Then we'll
it's just a Canadian town. They'll be fine.
Travel back to the late 1970s to re-experience the historic firestorms of Apocalypse Now.
Just like the last episode, we've got a ton of footage from this movie, so we're going to shoehorn it in every bloody time we can.
Enter the explosive realm of Hollywood pyrotechnics, next on Movie Magic.
Hit that theme song, baby!
Gibson's Landing, British Columbia, Canada. A 40-minute ferry ride from Vancouver.
Shame if it got blown up.
Gibson's 2,500 residents have watched a film crew transform their community into a New England village for the big screen version of Stephen King's Needful Things. Special effects coordinator Gary Paller has been responsible for the planning and safe execution of several spectacular blasts.
Action, Gary.
Hell yeah. You know it's good when it's smashing the power lines and stuff that are out there.
Is everything okay over here? Yeah, we're fine. Okay.
A well-respected Canadian pyrotechnician, Paller's effects work has appeared in such films as The Accused and Iceman, and the television dramas MacGyver and Wise Guy. Paller's 9 years as a firefighter gave him a unique understanding of the hazards of his profession.
Duncan, You flood us a light around up to here?
Sure, I'll shoot you a light up there. Don't worry about it.
Job on this picture is to design the destruction of a town, and
since it's a Canadian town, I'll take joy in it.
Make it cinematically spectacular as possible.
First thing we're going to do this morning is go over that, pull those half rounds off.
It's very important to have a crew you can trust. My first assistant, Jeff Butterworth, is very important to me. He's the guy that oversees all the powder. This is a fairly big show, so we've got 2 crews of 6 people working day and night on different things. I have a 40-foot trailer equipped with everything a director could ever want. We've got flame bars to create fires inside of buildings. I have smoke machines to create fog banks. We've got squibs to do bullet hits.
Now, I don't want anybody to think that these people aren't who they actually are, and that is 2 steps away from Carney. That's right. If you were in the special effects business, 2 steps away from being a Carney. Not 1, but 2.
Simulate small explosions. Everything you could ever want is on this trailer, and it's portable, and we're quick.
And we got cocaine here as well because it is the 90s.
Now for this film's biggest explosion. Paller is planning to level the main set, the antique shop known as Needful Things. Production designer Doug Higgins has supervised the construction of this and several other sets in the center of town. Unfortunately, this picturesque site is just across the street from 4 fuel storage tanks.
Over here is a church, which we built in this little park. And then in another little park over here, we put our main set, Needful.
I like that's like Catholic church. Where's the Protestant church? And are we blowing up the Catholic one or the Protestant one? Well, if history has any
things, a house which we have to ultimately blow up. And so we created this whole community right within this section here. Can't you score and cut a section in here so that the idea is that this stays and the rest goes?
With an eye towards safety, Higgins must work closely with the effects crew. He selects lightweight materials so that the debris from the blast is less likely to cause injuries. The effects crew weakens support beams so that a minimum amount of force is needed to destroy the building.
We blow the windows first, then we have something that comes out from underneath the basement as if the basement had caught. So we take out the underneath the porch, and then we start doing.
I always wonder, like, when the houses explode and stuff like that, where is it usually supposedly coming from? You know, because how many times do you see a whole house explode? You see them catch fire, but not explode.
Structural damage to the thing itself with a fireball, I would think, coming through the middle of it.
Director Fraser Heston gathers his crew together to explain how he wants this scene to play.
Yeah, that's a good shot. So, Tony, you want to think about whether you want to use the big crane or what. I guess that's the only way we can do it, isn't it? Get up high enough.
Well, fortunately, we don't have to be above the steeple.
Right.
All right, Doug. What? Listen, that was not that funny. I don't know what you're doing, but you're clowning on the job, quite frankly.
Thanks to Gary.
Listen, that's some dirty nonsense they're talking about right there. I can guarantee you they're all like, we bet him that he wouldn't say it on camera.
I want to talk about camera positions. I want to talk about Bill's stunt people, where they're going to be, where Gary says it's safe for them to be, where Gary's going to blow the thing when we...
This poor son of a gun. Little did he know when he woke up that day that he'd be captured and shown on Japanese television as a gapped-mouthed wacko. Huh? Huh? No, thank you.
We get to it.
Because the set stands just across the street from the fuel storage tanks, the explosion must be carefully controlled.
Now, Gary, where are you going to be?
Well, I was going to be right here in the center of town next to the fuel tanks.
Uh-huh.
I figured if they go off, I want to be the first one out of town.
And you will be.
We'll all be dead.
Heston has concerns about the stunt people in this one-take-only shot.
It's very important that we determine...
Look at this. We got ugly Robert Redford there in the background, don't we?
the path that these guys are going to run. Exactly. I don't care how far away they have to be, because I can just
Simon Pegg to the left.
put a lens farther back.
Yeah.
But
No
they don't want to deviate. Because if they deviate, if they leave my shot, if they dodge, then I'm bummed.
Directors want the biggest explosions possible. Under this pressure to perform, it's the responsibility of the pyrotechnician to decide how much is too much.
Think you used enough dynamite there, Tex?
Pressure? No.
Gary Paller knows today's audiences expect spectacular explosions.
Today's audiences will expect nothing but giant fireballs.
But he must walk a fine line between spectacular and safe.
And then we'll go just over safe, and then we'll dial it back just a little.
Creating an epic battle scene in the 1920s and 30s was almost like being in combat. On pictures such as The Big Parade, trenches were dug, and dozens of acres were mined and planted with dynamite. These dynamite charges in the hard adobe ground of Southern California created rock-like debris that acted much like real shrapnel. The actors never had to be told to keep their helmets on.
That's always fun when you have these, big giant events and stuff like that. We're like, well, no one's really acting here. Everyone's just like, oh, I want to live, please.
They kept them on to save their lives. Even the cameras were placed in protective steel cages. Strewn across the landscape, miles of fine wire led to the dynamite charges. Each bomb meant certain death or disfigurement to perhaps a score of men if the technician with his finger on the button made a mistake.
The old powder men, they had nerves of steel. The scenes that we're rigging here can be just as dangerous, though.
He's like, listen, they were good, but I ain't no slouch myself, huh?
Detailed in this diagram, Paller and his team have designed a complex explosion to destroy the Needful Things antique shop. In the first of 4 stages, fireballs will burst out of mortars behind the windows and front door. Next, det cord will cut up the roof and walls. Then debris mortars will blast outward.
Right.
Finally, fuel and naphthalene bombs will ignite in a fireball.
But of course.
Then we start watching for debris coming down, and then we go pick up the pieces.
Oh my God, it was
No,
too
take
early.
2.
A mortar is a steel pan with a black powder bomb called a lifter placed at the bottom. The mortar is then filled with sawdust, chunks of cork, and balsa wood.
And sometimes human remains.
When ignited, the bomb will blast the cork and balsa outwards, giving the impression of wood and lumber being torn from the building. The pyro crew must rig the building so that none of the blasts blow apart the wiring for any of the other explosions. If that were to happen, some of the charges could fail to detonate, leaving a potential time bomb in the resulting rubble.
It wouldn't be nice, but it would look really, really cool once it blows up.
Number 3 is all the mortars in here.
Each junction is joined into a main line, then checked with a galvanometer to test for breaks in the wire.
These are all numbered, so we got to have 1 wire here, 1 wire here, 1 wire here, 1 wire here. We get 6 wires. So we start here, leave 1 here, pull back, leave 1 there.
My man's over here like, let me put on my Corona, let me put on my Crown Royal bag here for my hat.
Pull back, leave 1 there. Pull back, leave 2 here.
Okay.
That's the plan.
To slice and dice the walls and roof, the crew uses primacord or det cord. Made of a thin, flexible tube with a core of high explosives called PTN, det cord disintegrates anything it's tied to.
This stuff burns at approximately 4 miles or 22,000 feet per second. So
I'm going to call bullcrap. I'm sure it goes fast. I'm sure it's, 4 miles in a second.
if you were to dial from Vancouver to Los Angeles, and by the time you got there on an old rotary phone, so would this.
While Paller's crew attaches det cord to the walls and roof of the set, Jeff Butterworth returns to their base camp and prepares the bombs.
Good old Butterworth.
When manufacturing black powder bombs, a measured amount of powder is poured into a plastic bag.
This is a small Omni Spark.
An electronic match or hit is used to ignite the bomb. This type of work requires a government license, granted only to those with years of training, experience, and complete knowledge of safety laws and regulations.
or anyone who's got $300.
These are taped hard with a roll of electrician's tape, so we get lots of strength for them to break apart, and it gives you a bigger bang. Of a scale, it would be hard to say exactly how much this would push, but
this guy likes fish. Look at him.
Would definitely remove my hands and arms. So,
in conjunction with the black powder bombs, other more slow-burning materials are used to give the blast shape and color. This is what the camera photographs as huge fireballs.
Hell yeah. Again, come on, dude. Are you telling me that CGI is going to do a better job than this? There's a naturalness to explosions and stuff that just has yet to really be recreated in digital format. There's an unwieldiness to explosions. There's a rawness to it. There's a chaotic element that computers just can't recreate. Not well, at least. They've gotten better. They've certainly gotten better, but there's no replacement for this.
in what we have, which are naphthalene bombs, this is a 15-pound one, and there's one of those hard pack bombs in the center of this. It's a chemical substance that gives us a fireball about 45 foot for this 15-pound bomb with lots of dark colors. It's got the reds and the blacks, and it doesn't stick like gasoline. If gasoline went up against the side of a building, it would stick and burn, whereas this just burns up in the air and it's gone.
Over the years, effects guys have come up with different ways of creating fireballs, and it's been a challenge. But I think my favorite one, along with everybody else, has been the one created by A.D. Flowers and Joe Lombardi in Apocalypse Now. I mean, that was spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
We all lived to create that explosion, done by the masters.
Working together in the Philippines for Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, A.D. Flowers and Joe Lombardi brought a wealth of pyro experience.
Take any other run that's over there and wipe that whole side
whatever's
out.
left. Just knock it
Trees,
off.
beach, a bunch of everything.
Man, bucket hats were aplenty back then, weren't they?
Okay. Okay.
Flowers had created explosions and fire for Red Badge of Courage, Tora Tora Tora, and the Towering Inferno.
Heard Tora 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 is Tora Tora Torable.
Lombardi had been supervising special effects for 25 years. His credits include the Godfather films One from the Heart and The Mosquito Coast. Both men are considered legends in the field of pyrotechnics.
I guess on Apocalypse we used every explosive that an effects man has ever used. We were there over 10 months, but all of our explosives that we had planned on using for the entire show was gone within the first month of shooting. When we started our explosives, the first one was a bridge and the entire village that we blew up. But even I didn't visualize that the napalm run would be as big as it was.
Here's the thing, though. Say what you will. It works.
For the climax of the village assault scene, Flowers and Lombardi worked with director Coppola to plan one of the biggest explosions ever filmed for a motion picture.
All on that one, we'll use primer cord, dynamite. We put in 600 feet of plastic tubing that was 6 or 8 inches in diameter, and we put 2 ends up on it and filled it with gasoline. Took us 2 days to fill it up. Along with that pipe, we put explosions in drums that was filled with gasoline, and we spaced them so as the airplane made its run, we would fire these individual charges off.
Look at that. Holy cow.
For Gary Paller and his crew, each explosion is potentially as dangerous as a full-scale napalm drop. For the Needful Things blast, the situation is especially risky because the building to be destroyed is in the center of town.
Shall we go into the 1 hour lockdown?
Shall we?
The antique shop is now literally a loaded weapon. Altogether, the set contains 2,500 feet of det cord, 31-pound and 10 2-pound black powder bombs, 7 naphthalene fire bombs, and 30 gallons of aviation fuel. all set to blow during the 4.5-second blast.
All for 4 seconds, guys. Crazy.
Despite their fatigue, the effects crew members meticulously test
Despite their fatigue, they're just gonna work on. You know how it is.
All of their detonation systems. As the crew continues working, stunt doubles for lead actors Ed Harris and Bonnie Bedelia, along with 11 other stunt people appearing as town residents, file onto the set. When the explosions begin, these trained professionals will be running from the antique shop. They must hit their marks and be out of harm's way before the next series of violent blasts demolishes the building.
The procedure of the explosions is this building is disappearing in about 2.5, 3 seconds. And we're going to move it from here to Grandma's Pub. Okay? And anything in between, no. So keep your heads down. Very important. You have to be on time, in position.
You know, as much as he's around fireballs and everything, you think we trim back these eyebrows a little bit, you know, keep you from getting scorched.
And only stress this. We cannot have you half a step behind, but we can't have you half a step ahead. The first explosion to take place is that window. That's explosion.
Be dead on, or you'll just be dead.
Number 1. On the second explosion, that door is leaving here at Mach 5. At that time, we detonate the GAC bombs, which is throwing all this stuff in the air, and 2 fuel bombs that are going to light it up cherry red in here. Okay, at about half a beat.
If you're inside here when it explodes, you're going to have a bad day, okay? All right? It's bizarre that we have to have the talk like this, but I have to lay it out there for you.
Behind that, the roof is loaded with almost 1,000 feet of 200 grain and 100 grain det cord. When that goes off, then all these boards in here get cut along this, what we call the AB wall. That gets cut and the roof starts caving in from the other side.
Stunt coordinator and 2nd Unit Director Bill Ferguson makes sure his people understand completely where they must be when the blast goes off.
So it's what we'll do is we're going to do this. We'll walk through this as many times as it takes to do another timing thing. We'll all start an action. So it's Adventures in Lumberland.
Yes. And believe me, when I say, if you all want to take a real quick look up, you'll notice that those are all 2x4s. There's no balsa wood in here. Okay. We saved all the balsa wood for the actors. It's very important. You all got to think your stuff through.
We're blowing up real stuff over here.
We don't get take 2. It's too big.
The responsibility for safety rests with Paller. If his judgment is off and the blast is too large, the fire debris could ignite nearby buildings. If his timing is off or a stunt person misses their mark, someone could be injured or killed.
35 minutes from now, the switch is going to get pulled. This is where you get down to the crunch where, you know, your weeks of planning have got to pay off. Everything that we do is it's brought down to one button.
One button and 5 seconds worth of a shot. That's the crazy part as well. It's just like how much you're doing for so little at the end of the day. Which I understand, which is why they want to do CGI and all that crap now, because you don't have to worry about doing it. You know, you can figure it out and make it 100% how you want it to be, but it ain't the same though.
When you push it, if it don't go, or only half of it goes, then it wasn't successful. So it should be successful. I'm happy. I'll be happier when it's over.
The volunteer fire department provides fire trucks and personnel.
Let me tell you something. Nothing more eager than a group of volunteer firefighters, boy. You ever met a volunteer firefighter? Holy. Every volunteer firefighter I've ever met takes firefighting more seriously than actual firefighters. Those dudes are insane, man. It's just like in the way that they talk about being a firefighter, you thought they were Superman, brother.
Working closely with Paller, they erect barricades to prevent spectators from getting too close to the blast.
From here, I get everybody off the street, and the last thing I'm going to do is run my wires. I'm going to tell Hydro to cut the power.
The effects crew completes rigging the antique shop, and preparations begin for the final countdown. A mile of insulated wire leads to the points of detonation from a master control called a nail board. Constructed simply out of wood and steel nails, each nail is wired to a separate set of explosives. Another nail, called the striker, is wired to a battery. When these nails touch, the circuit is completed and the blast is ignited with precise control.
When I stop, and you say you're ready, I'll wire the cameras like we did the other day. And when they're all up to speed, I'm going to tap Fraser. Fraser will give action.
Finally, everyone takes his or her place as the cameras roll.
And action!
Oh yeah, there it is. At first it's like, oh crap, this is not gonna. Oh, then it goes. Beautiful. You did that nice slow-mo and everything.
Because we judged correctly on the explosion, the debris stayed within 70, 75 feet of the explosion.
That's pretty cool.
No one got hurt. I had a lot of people out there. Everything went perfect.
All right, kids. I guess that's it for tonight. We're just gonna sweep up. No. We'll get to all this in the morning. They skip town.
I was very happy, very pleased with it. It was a very difficult explosion.
It was beautiful. It was. I was hiding down in the hole over there watching. It was just beautiful. I loved it.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's well done. Very good night. Thank you.
A good powder man must possess the knowledge of a chemist, the timing of a stuntman, and the eye of a cameraman. Only a select few accept this responsibility and hold the licensed title of pyrotechnic operator.
Get yourself a picture.
Hollywood's increasing demand for spectacular pyrotechnics requires calculated precision and finely tuned skills. Effects men like Gary Paller, A.D. Flowers, Joe Lombardi, and a handful of others take pride in the fact that their injury rates are extremely low, even when filming scenes that literally throw audiences back into their seats.
That's awesome.
Another day at the office. This is what really makes the 9-to-5ers want to do this job.
You don't want to do this job. It's way too late. You're out there in the middle of the night, and boy, oh boy, if something goes wrong, it is your button. Hell yeah, another episode of Moving Magic Down, everybody. Oh, I forgot to take this thing off. That's not right. All right. Well, that is it, everybody. Just a couple of episodes of Movie Magic here for you on this Monday. We'll be back tomorrow with our traditional Tuesday of TikTok Trash Tuesdays, where I've gone to the internet. I have collected many, many TikToks from folks all around the globe who've got takes of some sort about movies, and I'm going to take those and make fun of them. And I got to be honest with you, there are a couple of them that I have actually looked at this time because we're going to be talking about some reviews and people's thoughts on reviews and how people should review things. And I don't know, I think some of these things are kind of important, and we'll talk about those in things tomorrow. Let me do this while I'm here, just because we can, right? Big giant thank you to people that support the show over at patreon.com/HMP. Those folks get pre-show, post-show dinger zone, and a big old giant credit here and everything. So if you would like your name up there, why don't you head on over to patreon.com/HMP, join up at any level, and keep this here program churning and a burning, man. We really appreciate that, all of you. And if you can't do that, for the heaven's sake, why don't you just be that dirty baby? Like, subscribe, put on that bell notification, and check out our shorts, man. I am putting together YouTube shorts and whatnot, and I'm taking elements from the podcast and everything from this show and all these other things, shorting them down to like, little 30-second to, minimum or maximum a minute of material that's just kind of giving you a little flavor of the show. Like and, comment on all those things as well. That helps this, all of these things gather together. Because I'm going to be honest with you, boys and girls, we are probably we're the best underseen podcast on the internet. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. The what we do, the product that we put out, we deserve so many more viewers than that. So hit that like and subscribe button. It means a whole hell of a lot. And join us back here tomorrow for yet another TikTok Trash Tuesday over at all the places. All the links are in there. Links are in the show notes. That is it, everybody. I'm trying to find all my buttons here so I can go out in style. Arrivederci. We'll see you tomorrow night.